In the glittering world of the bold and the beautiful, where power plays and whispered secrets have always drawn the lines between loyalty and betrayal, Bill Spencer finds himself caught in the most perilous game of his life. What began as an attempt to quietly erase a complication a child he didn't want associated with his legacy spirals into something darker, far more dangerous, and entirely out of his control. The storm is no longer about business. It's about blood, fear, and the crumbling of trust inside the very walls Bill once believed were unshakable. It all starts with a private offer, a contract, and a bribe. Bill had approached Luna Nozawa with a meticulously constructed diamond deal, luxury, power, and security, all tied up in a glossy agreement that would erase the child she carried. She refused. In front of him, in front of Will, she tore the deal in half. It should have ended there. But the ripple effect had only just begun. Sheila Carter, the wild card in any game, saw the weakness in Bill's armor. She watched him stumble in the aftermath of Luna's rejection, saw the cracks forming in his family, and she smelled blood. Not just metaphorical blood, real, irreversible violence. Sheila approached him quietly, with her usual mix of charm and threat, her eyes calm but cold. She told him she could help. She could make the problem go away permanently. No paperwork, no press, no complications. Her meaning wasn't subtle. She offered to eliminate the child, not in theory, not with lawyers, but physically. A clean slate in exchange for a favor she'd call in later. No strings on the front end, but a future price that only Sheila could define. It was the kind of proposition that made even Bill Spencer, who had maneuvered billion-dollar deals and crushed empires, recoil in disgust. Bill was no saint, but he wasn't a killer. And yet, in that moment, even his refusal wasn't enough to stop the damage. Because Sheila had made the offer, and someone had seen her do it. Deacon Sharp confronted Bill before the rumor could get legs. He warned him loud, clear, and without apology. Dipping even a toe into Sheila's world was suicide. There are lines you don't cross, even in desperation. Sheila doesn't deal in favors, deals in destruction. Once her claws are in, there's no backing out. Deacon, having seen the darker layers of Sheila's soul up close, told Bill in no uncertain terms, if he even humored the idea of working with her, he was walking into a grave with his name already etched on the stone. But rumors move faster than truth. By the time Bill tried to pull back, by the time he tried to clean up the mess Sheila had only offered to make, the whispers were already spreading. Will Spencer heard it first, not from his father, but from a friend, who heard it from someone who worked at Spencer Publications. Bill Spencer had cut a deal with Sheila Carter. The words hit like a hammer. For a boy who had only recently watched his father nearly erase an unborn sibling with a contract, hearing that same man might be in bed with a woman like Sheila was too much. The respect that had barely survived the Luna incident shattered completely. Katie Logan was next. When she heard the same rumor, she didn't wait for confirmation. She marched straight to Bill's office, fire in her eyes. She demanded the truth. He denied it. He told her Sheila had made an offer, not the other way around. He said he walked away. But Katie, a woman who's lived too long in the shadow of Bill's half-truths and strategic denials, wasn't reassured. The fact that Sheila had even come to him meant his behavior had invited it, that his actions had opened the door. Katie didn't yell. She simply laid down her own contract, no papers, no lawyers, just a clear ultimatum. If Bill didn't cut Sheila out of his life completely, she would file for full custody of Will. No shared agreements. No visitation. She would protect their son the way Bill refused to be, keeping him away from toxic influence, even if that influence came from his own father. For a man like Bill, used to control, to influence, to powerbank stripped of family was unthinkable. And yet, that's exactly what stood before him. His son wouldn't look at him. His ex-wife wouldn't trust him. His reputation, already shaky, was now stained with the darkest possible association. The walls began to close in. Board members questioned his judgment. Journalists began poking around, sniffing out links between Spencer publications and known criminals. Internally, the company trembled. Bill's Brandon's gleaming, bold, and bulletproof is starting to rot from the inside. Even his own employees were whispering. Investors called for reassurances. The legal department issued statements. But nothing could erase the fact that Bill Spencer had allowed Sheila Carter to step into his orbit, and he hadn't immediately burned that bridge to the ground. In the quiet of his penthouse, with his phone silent and the city below still glittering in its indifferent glow, Bill faced something he'd avoided his entire life: reflection. Real reflection. Not strategy. Not spin. He asked himself what had driven him to this point. Was it fear? Ego? The stubborn belief that he could solve every problem with money and leverage? He saw himself clearly for the first time in a long time, not as the titan, not as the mogul, but as a man who had nearly sacrificed a child's future, partnered with a psychopath, and alienated his own son, all to protect a legacy built on control. He thought of Lena standing there, defiant, of Wilsolent and ashamed, of Casey cold, heartbroken, and done. He thought of Sheila's eye serpentine and patient, and of Deacon's warning: if you go down this road, you won't come back. And for once, Bill believed it. The following morning, Bill did something few expected. He made a public statement, not a press release through the corporate PR team. A direct, televised message. He denounced Sheila Carter, distanced himself from any suggestion of collaboration, and acknowledged his errors. He didn't apologize for offering Luna the gel, was too proud for that, but he admitted it was wrong. He stated unequivocally that no harm would come to Luna, her child, or anyone tied to them. He renounced any action that would hurt his family, and he vowed to rebuild trust even if it took the rest of his life. But words are cheap. Katie watched, unmoved. Will didn't return his texts. Luna, protected now by Poppy and Hope, didn't respond. And Sheila watched with that same smile. She wasn't angry. She didn't need to be. Because even if Bill had rejected her offer, even if he had tried to cleanse himself with a speech, the damage was already done. His reputation, his family, his legacy were no longer his to control. They were cracked, leaking, and exposed. And Sheila? She would wait. She always did. Because she knew men like Bill never stop needing control. And control always leads back to her. As the week closes, Bill Spencer stands alone and defeated, but no longer unbreakable. He's faced the monster. Not just Sheila. Himself. But in the world of the bold and the beautiful, monsters don't stay locked away. And redemption isn't given. It's earned, inch by brutal inch. And Bill's fight for redemption is just beginning. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, emotional turmoil and explosive revelations are tearing through the Forrester and Spencer circles. As one relationship spirals toward collapse and another claws its way back to life. In the center of it all is Hope Logan, caught between the men she's promised a future to the men she's never truly let go of. For Carter Walton, time is up. For Liam Spencer, the door is cracked open. And for Hope, the weight of her indecision is threatening to crush everything she's tried to rebuild. It begins with silence. Carter Walton has been patient. He has stood by Hope as she pulled away from wedding planning, postponed dress fittings, and made excuse after excuse. He accepted that she needed space when Liam Spencer was hospitalized, when death seemed imminent, and when old feelings flared up under the cruel weight of mortality. Carter convinced himself it was temporary, that Hope was just processing trauma, that she'd come back to him fully and without reservation. But Liam didn't die. And Steffi Forrester, Liam's ex-wife and longtime emotional chorus, no longer hovering near his hospital bed. With Liam on the mend and back on his feet, there are no more excuses. And yet, Hope still hesitates. Carter finally faces what he's been avoiding. Hope isn't all in. He brings it up, gently at first. He tells her it's time to talk about their future again, about setting a real date, about moving forward. But Hope doesn't meet his eyes. Her smile is tight, Her answer's vague, and Carter sees its same flicker in her gaze every time Liam's name comes up. It's not just nostalgia. It's love. Lingering, pulsing, inconvenient love that refuses to die. Still, Carter tries one last time. He reminds Hope of everything they've shared, everything he's offered here: a steady hand, unwavering support, a relationship built on honesty and stability. But she doesn't leap into his arms. She doesn't recommit. And as the silence grows louder, Carter realizes the truth: he's losing her. Or maybe he never truly had her to begin with. Meanwhile, Liam Spencer, reborn through survival, is seeing life with new clarity. His brush with death shattered more than his body. It broke open the parts of his heart he had tried to seal off. He knows now, without question, who he loves. And it's hope. It's always been hope. There were mistakes. There were gaps. There was Steffi. But none of that changes the way he feels now. He's not confused. He's not ashamed. He's certain. Liam doesn't waste time. He finds hope and lays it all out. He tells her he loves her. He tells her he wants another chance. He tells her that marrying Carter would be settling, and they both know it. He doesn't manipulate. He doesn't guilt. He simply opens his heart and lets her see everything. And for Hope, it's too much. The feelings flood in, the history, the child they share, the dreams they once hated, and suddenly, the future she was building with Carter feels hollow. Carter hears whispers. He sees the looks. He knows what's coming even before Hope finds the courage to tell him. And he's done waiting. In a confrontation that rattles the walls at Forrester Creations, Carter demands the truth. He tells Hope he's tired of being second. Tired of waiting. Tired of pretending. He gives her an ultimatum. Either she marries him now, without hesitation, or it's over. No more limbo. No more waffling. Choose. Hope falters. Her mouth opens, but the words don't come. And that's all Carter needs. Her silence says more than any speech. He turns and walks away, his heart heavy, his pride shattered. But he knows he deserves better than this. And he's not going to beg. But the fallout is immediate. Hope is left devastated not because Carter is gone, but because the facade is finally broken. She can't hide behind planning anymore. She can't pretend she's ready to move on when every part of her heart is still tangled with Liam. Her team at Forrester notices the shift. Executives raise eyebrows. Designers whisper about the failed engagement. And Ridge Forrester, always the guardian of his brand, starts to question whether Hope's personal drama is beginning to cost the company its image. Professionally, things begin to unravel. Hope's focus is fractured. Meetings are missed. Deadlines slip. The collection stalls. And now, with her engagement to Carter publicly imploded, she's exposed. Vulnerable. Under scrutiny. Worse, the idea of reuniting with Liam sends a message many see as a step backward. The man who broke her heart, who bounced between her and Steffi for years, now welcomed back with open arms? It's not inspiring, it's controversial. Critics of Hope for the future begin to speak out. Online buzz turns sour. The press has a field day. And the whispers grow louder. Hope Logan can't separate her love life from her business. Yet in the quiet corners of her life, away from the cameras and boardrooms, there's a flicker of peace. With Liam by her side, with Beth between them, there's a sense of coming home. The chemistry is still there. The shared laughter. The understanding. It's effortless. It's real. And though the road to forgiveness is long and public perception is brutal, Hope begins to believe that maybe, just maybe, this is where she's meant to be. But Carter isn't gonna not entirely. Rumors swirl that he may leave Forrester altogether, that he's considering a transfer or even starting a rival firm. Some say he's already taken meetings. Others claim he's not done fighting for Hope. But Carter, for the first time in years, is truly unpredictable. He loved Hope. He gave her everything. And she walked away. If he stays, it won't be quietly. Hope's decision has ripple effects far beyond her love life. Thomas Forrester, once obsessed with her, keeps his distance but watches with knowing eyes. Brooke Logan, ever protective, warns her daughter not to fall back into old patterns. And Steffi returns to town with her own opinions and is scored to settle. The news that Liam and Hope are reconnecting sends a tremor through her carefully rebuilt life. She has questions, she has doubts, and she has unfinished business. Meanwhile, Ridge and Eric begin to evaluate the future of Hope for the future. Is it viable without Carter's influence? Can Hope lead without stability? Should the line be paused or structured handed to someone else entirely? Hope stands at a crossroads. Professionally, she's under fire. Personally, she's clinging to a love that has burned her before. The wedding she once envisioned is ashes. The future is uncertain. But one thing is clear. She can no longer have it both ways. She can't keep one foot in Carter's world and another in Liam's arms. She made her choice, and now she has to live with it. But in the world of the bold and the beautiful, nothing stays still. Loyalties shift. Love bends. And just when you think this story is over, someone returns, someone breaks, someone lies. Carter's heart is broken, but not defeated. Liam has reclaimed what he believes is his. Hope is navigating a storm of public and private reckoning. And through it all, the shadows loom of Steffi, of Thomas, of Ridge, of every person who sees this reunion as a threat, a mistake, or a challenge. The week ends not with peace, but with anticipation. What will Carter do next? Will Hope and Liam survive the scrutiny? Will Forrester Creations support Hope or cut her loose? The only certainty is that nothing will ever be the same again.